on Fifth Avenue in lovely Park Slope, Brooklyn, New York. I'm here with Mike Scondotto of Inhuman and The Last Stand.
What's going on, everybody?
We just witnessed something I thought would never happen, and that would be a theatrical release of A Serbian Film. And what's up with that, man?
I tell you, I was reading the Village Voice as I do every Wednesday, and I usually go almost right to the back of the movie section almost every week. And there's an ad for the movie, staring at me because I'd heard it was coming to theaters in the middle of May. So I figured, it'll probably play in one or two theaters in Manhattan. But it was playing in two theaters in Manhattan, and lo and behold, one theater in my very own neighborhood of Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, the Alpine. The Alpine is probably one of the last mom-and-pop theaters in that part of Brooklyn. There's a few left overall, but there's only very few that are not, mass, huge multiplexes. It's pretty much like a family theater. That, the craziest it gets will be a horror movie. And they were showing what some are calling one of the sickest movies ever made. So it's kind of bizarre.
Some of the other films that were shown there, and I was like Thor,
Rio,
just like
kids movies,
family oriented stuff, and your basic run of the mill fare. So, what's one more coffee? Yes, please.
But I saw that you took a picture of the monkey. I did too when I got there to send to a friend of mine who lives in Kansas. He was a big, movie and horror movie fan, and he couldn't believe it was playing in Bay Ridge either, so it's kind of fun.
Attendance-wise tonight.
Yeah.
So to start, it was me, you,
Yep.
Jeff, Lucky 13,
and a friend of mine, Chris, and a lone couple, a guy and a girl. And lo and behold, by the end of the movie, it was just us four. They did not make it. The poor couple probably walked out, I would say, midway, maybe, because I did see them around midway, so
Right.
They weren't there. Wonder what was going through their heads as they were watching this little gem.
So what are your thoughts on this film, Mike?
I liked it a lot, actually. If there's like a really strange or different kind of movie out there, I usually read up on it a lot, and I've been reading up on this movie, it seems like, for almost a year, following, different articles online and in movie magazines and things like that, and it delivered. I think it definitely lived up to the hype. What surprised me about it was how well it was made. Maybe I was expecting something a little more kind of, of a chintzier production, but it was actually shot very well. It looks like money was spent on the movie on more than just the effects, The actual, locations in Serbia were actually, looked like a pretty nice, I guess, a lot of like oceanfront kind of settings on a few of the scenes, which was surprising. And the acting was very good as well. I cannot think of the names of the actors, unfortunately, but I thought everybody did a really good job. The main character Milos in particular, was pretty amazing, actually. And in a movie like that, you wouldn't think things like that would get recognized, but hopefully it does. I don't know what, or if your Roger Ebert's out there or other fairly mainstream critics have seen this movie or not, what they thought of it. But I would have to say that some at least might give it some credit in respect of the actual, technicalities of it and the acting in it, which was good.
Yeah, the only people that even the horror community, like your bloodydisgusting.com, and some of the other podcasts, Rue Morgue covered it.
Fangoria has definitely covered it.
They still were like in awe of the brutality and intensity of the film. Being like a film that only really needs one viewing. And personally, I've seen it four times.
I was, I saw in the theater tonight, and we must mention that we saw an edited version. In order to get the U.S. showing, a theatrical showing that I guess the production people wanted, they had to trim a few scenes, and a few scenes were definitely taken out, as you confirmed, because you've seen the movie.
Right.
Do you think that hurt the movie in any way, what they took out?
I don't think so. I think on a narrative level, it didn't really affect the film. Definitely there was enough shocking scenes left in the movie.
Right.
And you definitely got the idea, like the scenes where the parts that were trimmed out didn't really affect the overall content of the scene. Like you still were very much aware of what went on during those scenes.
Right. That's, I guess, an example of positive censorship in a way. I mean, they had to censor it to get it shown, but what they took out didn't affect the movie itself. It didn't affect the experience, really, of the movie itself.
But for the purists, I guess there's going to be like the DVD release of that.
Yeah, they'll just wait. I mean, I know people who would probably wait to just get the actual version on DVD, which apparently is coming out, as my friend Chris confirmed that it was on Amazon for pre-order. I wonder who exactly is putting it out in America. I'd have to kind of look and see. I'm pretty surprised, but I guess everything eventually has its release, these days. I mean, there's movies have come so far that movies that you never thought would be on, say, DVD or Blu-ray are finally coming out. And, even the same with music, a lot of things that have gone, by the wayside over the years are finally getting their due. And I guess movies are among that, I'm glad it's getting released. And it should be, released on DVD. I mean, if you're going to invest money in something or whatever, and if it's a shocking film or not, you want as many people to see it as possible. And apparently these directors, that's what they want. They want people to see this movie. They want to see people's reaction to this movie. And from what I've read about Serbian Film, the reason behind the making of it was due to the political climate and oppressions of Serbia, which is something I admittedly don't know too much about. But it's if it strikes such a chord for two guys who I believe it was two people who made this movie, to make a movie like this, then obviously things are not too great, you could say, in Serbia, or were not too great.
Also, another thing I picked up on tonight, once again, multiple viewings, you learn new things every time, was the filmmaker was possibly Russian. Mm-hmm. And I know that during the Soviet years, all of Eastern Europe was having a really hard time under the Soviet rule.
Right.
And I believe that was, definitely the intent of the film was to sort of show,
right,
the sort of erosion of their society and, the way people were victimized and the overall population was victimized possibly by the Soviets.
I read that when this movie was shown at Cannes and a few other film festivals, some people walked out, some people, might have vomited or maybe not protested, but definitely were vocal about their dislike of the film. But recently, a theater manager that was arrested on charges of child pornography for showing this film in, I believe, Spain or somewhere in South America. So that's pretty unbelievable in itself.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, I can. Thanks. I guess, I don't know, one could argue that, I don't know, I mean, I don't see how people don't realize the term, it's only a movie, you know what I mean? Does that just kind of go out the window with a movie like this? Or, I mean, how does one get arrested for showing a movie that they didn't write, direct, or have anything to do with other than show in a theater? That's pretty unbelievable.
Well, a lot of the Mediterranean countries are really Catholic oriented, and I think that sort of, that sort of philosophy kind of is like, real stifling and whatnot.
I mean, to be honest, I think if certain people in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn knew this movie was playing, they may have the theater owner of the Alpine arrested. So it doesn't surprise me, I guess, or at least picketing. When we were leaving the movie, my friend Jeff and I reminisced about remembering when Silent Night, Deadly Night had come out around 1984, 85, and there were indeed people picketing that movie in Brooklyn. There are pictures of it online. I've seen pictures of it, and I remember it as a kid seeing the actual newspaper article about it. So, 85 to 2011, we've obviously come a little bit of a ways. But when you go to other countries and different cultures, if someone is disgusted and shocked by something, they're going to make sure everybody knows about it.
Also, probably people just become so desensitized by violence and sexual perversions and whatnot these days that, something like Silent Night, Deadly Night would definitely be a little bit more lightweight than it was back when it came out in the late 70s or 80s.
I would say if you were to screen certain 80s horror movies that caused a big stir today, You might even get some laughs in the audience at certain points. In 2000, when they put The Exorcist back in theaters, I saw with a friend of mine in Manhattan, and there's a lot of younger kids there, some teenagers that were laughing at a lot of scenes in The Exorcist, and my friend couldn't believe, like, huh? What are you laughing at? This is you know what I'm saying? There's nothing comedic in anything in The Exorcist. And I distinctly remember young teenagers laughing at certain scenes about, the let Jesus fuck you, and just certain scenes involving Reagan, and so I guess again being desensitized, finding things funny. Thank you.
One of the, just a quick aside, like, The Exorcist was a movie that my parents took me to when I was a young lad.
Damn.
At a drive-in.
Damn.
So that was like the first legit horror movie I've ever seen. Possibly one of the first theatrical films I may have seen.
You can remember in your
that I can remember. And I remember being, terrified by that movie. And so I don't find anything really funny about it.
No, nothing at all. But it all depends on who you're seeing a movie with, who's in the audience. It'd be very funny to see what your mainstream horror movie goer would have thought about this movie. I wish more people were in the audience. I would have just liked to have seen some type of reaction other than me, you, and our friends,
Totally.
That would have been nice, but oh well.
But the actual film, for anyone who isn't aware of this, because I've written about this on my blog a couple times and made references to it, but it's basically the story of Milos, a retiring, semi-retired porno actor, who is called back into the business by one of his former colleagues under the aegis of this more serious toned
and more money,
like enough money to retire on and sort his family out for the rest of their lives. So there's also this financial motivation for him to get back into it.
We never know how much money.
Yeah, there's only a scene where they whisper it, so we don't know.
That's kind of weird.
I think that was definitely intentional in a certain sense because, how much money, like internationally, might have not have been.
And it shows a real kind of desperation and what people do in desperate times.
Right.
What's funny, though, is they weren't really seen as hurting financially as a family. If you see the movie, you see that they have a fairly nice home. They don't seem rich by any means, but they don't seem that poor, so it's kind of interesting. We don't know how much money to do this new kind of porn was, but we know that the family obviously maybe doesn't have enough money to get by, but it does not appear that way. I don't know. I kind of picked up on that.
Right. Well, there's one reference when he has his first meeting.
Yes.
And I can't remember the character's name, but another female porno actress. Brings him into the fold with his production company. And she makes a statement about how, he may have only socked away like $5,000 or $10,000.
Yes, I remember that.
10
grand.
Like that.
Yes, exactly.
So there is definitely the setting is that he's maybe used to a certain type of lifestyle, but his current financial state most likely wouldn't be able to sustain that lifestyle for much longer.
Yes.
So there is like a little bit of that. There's not any real like immediate, danger or need, but it's definitely something that's looming in the future for him. Is like financial.
That money's going to run out.
Right. So that's sort of his motivation. So one of the things though is Vukmir, who not to give away any of the story, but there's a guy who has never made any film that anyone's seen, but is also a psychologist.
Former psychologist, yes.
Who has a lifelong obsession with film. So this is his project, and he's assembling a cast of people that he's handpicked. And Milos, from his past work in the adult film industry, has piqued his interest as being someone who's an artist in that medium.
He was apparently a big fan of Milos as a porn star. And I guess saw something in him to bring him into this world. And we obviously cannot forget Milos' brother, who is a cop, apparently. And a cop akin to, I guess, Bad Lieutenant, you could say. A Harvey Keitel-esque type of cop. Yeah. Not very law-abiding cop. I guess one would say.
He's also obsessed with Milos's lovely wife.
Extremely beautiful wife, who can, I guess maybe we cannot blame him, but hey, you know, the man does overstep the boundaries, as you will see if you see the film. But yeah, he has a brother who's a cop who is obsessed with, well, obviously sex, as many of the characters, I guess, in the movie are, and also obsessed with his sister-in-law.
The most curious thing about this project that Vukmir has proposed that Milos, star in, is the lack of any identifiable script.
Yes.
He keeps claiming that there's a script, and no one is going to know about it.
No one's going to see it except for him, right?
Yeah, he just wants him to act out and do what he does naturally in front of the camera.
Via earpiece, he hears what to do in the scenes with a little earpiece that the director, is basically speaking his actions into his ear. But things just get stranger and stranger, I guess, with each passing scene, to say the least.
Yeah. And the guys that are shooting the film are these thuggish, militaristic looking.
Right. He's almost
roughneck
confused.
guys.
He thinks they may even be policemen or off-duty policemen. He doesn't know what they are, who these people are. That to me reminded me a bit of Hostel, in many ways actually. This is almost like Hostel times 50, I would say. This
Hostel
movie.
on steroids.
Yes, exactly. Some of the settings reminded me of Hostel. Some of the atmosphere reminded me of Hostel. So I think this is a movie that horror fans who veer a little bit on the extreme would enjoy, and probably would enjoy this particular version of the movie, where some of the scenes, which are definitely would be much harder to take, are not there. Reminiscent of, say, I mentioned Cannibal Holocaust earlier, and where you can, the version you can rent or buy, on DVD, removes the animal cruelty, and that's a version I know some people prefer of that film. I would imagine when this DVD comes out, you may have a choice of what version you get to see as well.
Probably.
So I would probably bet on that. Yeah. If not two separate DVDs itself, two separate options,
I think the Cannibal Holocaust stuff, I find that a little bit more disturbing though, just because it is real animal, animal murder, cruelty to the animal footage. Mm-hmm. And this definitely is, fictional. I mean, special effects.
Yes. But in a way, it's the Cannibal Holocaust of its day. Only, dare I say, more people were probably seeing Cannibal Holocaust back in the day in edited forms than this particular movie, which has an extremely small run in America. But again, a huge word of mouth in the horror community and in the underground film community. People know about this movie. They've heard that name, A Serbian Film. If people have been doing any type of reading on any kind of horror website or blog, or any type of extreme cinema, website. And the reviews again have all been fairly favorable. Murder Set Pieces a few years back was a movie that caused a big stir and was very controversial. But a lot of people said the movie was terrible and the acting was terrible. Where the flip side with this movie is that I would definitely not say that. I would say it actually is a good movie, and the acting was a million miles ahead of the Murder Set Pieces. But what's comparable is its hype, and it's what is this kind of vibe that both of those movies kind of have, do have. And Murder Set Pieces, again, they definitely spent some money on that movie as well, and it looks like A Serbian Film, definitely not a cheaply shot film. I don't know how much was spent on the movie, but they definitely had some type of budget, that went beyond the special effects.
So once Milos finally gets into the actual meat and potatoes of the script, quote unquote, we find out that there's a 3-day period where he doesn't have any recognizable memory,
right,
and everything is told in flashback. And that's when the real extreme parts of the film actually come out. During the flashbacks, he has recovered some video cassettes, which he's secreted off to the woods and sort of
watches each one at a time, and you're getting a picture of all the horrible stuff that has gone down in the past 3 days. And It's very effective in that way.
Yeah, because it sort of reveals the story little by little, and the atrocities that he's been forced to to execute on these other people involved.
And no one is forgotten among the cast. No one is. There's no fate left unknown among this entire cast, I will say.
So, and also to motivate him to do all this stuff, they shoot him up with some horse tranquilizer, horse Viagra or something.
Yeah, unbelievable amounts of drugs. Which obviously the poor guy would not be able to probably have done anything that he did without being drunk. So, another thing we must just mention is the music in the film, which was fantastic. I don't know if techno is even the right word for what it is. It's European. I guess you could say dance music, but it's just got a very kind of sinister vibe to it.
Yeah.
The composer's name is Sky Wickler, who I believe is, a fairly well-known DJ, music producer. And I don't know if it is even in Serbia. I mean, he definitely has. I did a search on him on YouTube, and quite a few things came up. Quite a few things come up on the guy on like a Google search. But he did, I believe, most of the music for the film and the main theme for the film, which is just this very kind of sinister, electronic track, which a lot of people I think will definitely want to pick up, and I don't even think it's really available yet. I got it from a friend of mine, emailed it to me, and he took it from YouTube, so it's about 3.5 minutes long.
There's also that weird sort of like piano,
Yes.
that little sort of figure that pops up throughout the film. It's like this very unsettling 3 or 4 note run that they do on the keyboard, and it just sort of sets the tone for the movie. It makes it really, like Mike said, sinister, unsettling.
Yes.
Real minor sounding.
And before all the real kind of carnage unfolds in the movie, there are many moments where I thought it was coming and it wasn't. There's definitely a lot of build-up in this movie. There's a lot of tension. You're very uneasy watching it before anything has really happened. And to me, that's the mark of a good horror film, or at least even a good movie, right?
Totally.
If you're not sure what's going to be going on and you're on edge, then that's good. That's the vibe I get when I watch, say, Breaking Bad, and when I'm watching The Killing right now, which is one of the most unbelievable TV shows I've ever seen. You don't know what the hell is going to happen, and that's kind of the vibe you get as you're watching this movie. And to me, like I said, that's the mark of something good.
Yeah, the first time I saw the movie, I'd done some reading on it. I knew some of the key scenes, maybe, but I didn't know anything about the ending, and we're not going to give the ending away.
No.
For anyone who's
We've done a pretty good job of not giving away the good meat of the film, which is good.
Yeah. But the ending is like one of the most nihilistic, bum-out endings I've seen since Martyrs.
Yes.
Martyrs is the only thing that comes close to like a truly depressing, existentially depressing bum-out ending.
Another bum-out ending on definitely less existential note would be the ending of The Mist.
Yeah.
Which to me is one of the greatest endings of horror movies of the decade.
Yeah.
So take that and just times that by 100, and there you have the end of Serbian Film.
Yeah.
But somewhat similar. I will say that somewhat similar an ending to the Mist.
Yeah, because he's kind of left holding the bag at
Exactly.
the end of the Mist. Like he murders his, whatever. If anyone,
We don't want to kill the Mist. It's kind of old, but yeah, it's a bit of a downer ending, different from the Stephen King novella ending, which I actually liked even better than the Stephen King ending, which gave it a bit more of a somewhat happier, I think.
Yes. A little more coffee, please. Yeah, one of the things I liked about The Mist was that ending, and also the option to watch it in black and white.
Indeed.
Which made it, I think everything worked really way better in black and white. I mean, I love the movie color, but black and white, it has that creepy 1950s monster
On a side note, I remember as far as the, Walking Dead is concerned, there was talk that TV show was going to be in black and white. Obviously, it was not in black and white, and it is not. But I wonder, and there was no black and white option on that DVD from what I know. But that would have been a good idea coming from a, obviously, black and white only comic book. Yeah. Would have been nice.
So you said you're not up to date on Walking Dead comics?
I'm up to date in end of issue 83. where his son things have taken quite a bad turn for him. I have not read 84. It's sitting in the pile that I have to pick up this week.
One of the things I picked up my books today too, and before coming to the theater, and I was really happy to see the new issue of Rue Morgue, which I'm really looking forward to checking out.
Yes, John Waters on the cover, and although not who you think of immediately when horror comes to mind, turns out Waters is a huge horror fan, and his movies definitely veer on that edge of, I don't know, more than just sketchiness, just bizarre, and the bizarre has a hand in the horror. They talk a lot about pink flamingos and the disgusting scenes in that movie. So to me, it does fit right up the alley of being covered in, say, Rue Morgue, or being appreciated by a horror fan.
Believe it or not, I haven't really seen a whole lot of John Waters' films.
Some of them are pretty repulsive, including Pink Flamingos. There's a defecating, eating scene. There are these incest scenes. It's a pretty strange, bizarre film that I saw when I was very young, unfortunately. Probably still scarred from that movie, from seeing it as a child. But he's a big horror guy. He loves horror, and they obviously talk about that in the magazine.
So you were saying earlier, did you haven't had a chance to check out that link I posted for the Black Flag?
Not yet.
86?
I will hopefully watch it tonight. I'm pretty psyched about it. I actually love late era Black Flag, and to see a documentary about from their last tour, to me, is pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I got hip to that real quick, man. Like once I think it showed up. I think Billy Werner sent it to me, and the former singer of Hot Cross, Billy Werner, sent it to me, and immediately I started posting it, tweeting it, whatever. Then I'm on the Henry Rollins 213 Twitter thing.
Right, which I thought I was on, but maybe I'm not.
Yeah, and Rollins tweeted it too, so I retweeted it.
Yeah.
The Twitter maniac these days.
Yeah, I definitely have to look into that. It's cool that apparently it was just has gone unseen all these years, and now it's kind of making the rounds, which is cool,
But it's still only digital. It's still only online.
Right.
It's still only in a Vimeo, available just on Vimeo, and
not a ton of official home video of Black Flag out there. I mean, I believe there's at least 2 or 3 DVDs you can purchase, but to me that's not a lot, for a band like that.
It's not even nearly enough.
No, and a lot of hardcore punk in general. I don't know, not a lot of documented, but has been documented. But we're starting to see more books now about punk and hardcore, and obviously the American Hardcore documentary. But to me, that's just kind of, skim the surface, and hopefully with time we'll see more of it.
The one thing I'm really interested in seeing, and you can catch 1 or 2 songs here and there, is the Black Flag set from Mike Muir's garage.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard about that. I've never actually heard it. I've read and heard about it.
You can find YouTube clips, just miscellaneous songs, but never the entire set, or never a consecutive set list or whatever.
1981, I believe that was.
Yeah, it was. Yes. Yeah, it was when Rollins was just
first year in the band. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I have a VHS tape which I bought at Generation Records, some bootleg. It has a bunch of different eras of Black Flag.
Wow.
There's that one song, Scream, was on there.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, Reality 86, man. I've been waiting a long time for that to come out.
I'm good, thank you. But I mean, in comparison to horror and say hardcore punk, lately horror is all about the 80s and nostalgia, it seems, and taking ideas from old movies. I mean, I guess that's probably never going to die around, the remake, redo kind of era. But something I saw in the comic shop on the cover of the new Horror Hound, which is a great horror magazine, is a retrospective of 1981, 30 years ago. It was a tremendous year for hardcore punk rock, obviously, but a very big year for horror movies. The list of movies that came out in 1981 is pretty huge, and it's movies that had a huge impact. Halloween 2, Friday the 13th 2, My Bloody Valentine. Those are just a few I'm thinking off the top of my head. American Werewolf in London. If you do a little research and look up the horror movies of 1981, you'd be very surprised at just how many great ones that there were in that year. That to me is, I guess it's the post first Halloween, first Friday the 13th, when filmmakers in Hollywood saw, wow, horror is this vital new genre again. A lot of bad stuff came out at the end of the 80s, with a few exceptions, obviously, like Hellraiser, but the early 80s, much like with hardcore punk rock, probably one of the best eras for horror movies, 100% in my opinion. Like I would say late 70s to about the mid 80s is probably some of my favorite horror movies,
What recently came out in the last couple of years was that House of the Devil.
Yes. Which owes quite a bit to the early 80s, down to the, not only the title, the artwork for the poster, the fact that it came out on VHS and DVD, the title credits in the beginning.
Title credits, exactly.
And even the vibe of that movie, actually. I just thought, the music, obviously, was all of that moment. I just thought that the vibe and the look, it definitely nailed it quite well, I thought.
Also, I think, wasn't there like a special edition of the DVD that actually came in that...
in the VHS packaging, yes. Mm-hmm.
No, that old
awesome.
School, like,
clamshell,
plastic
yes,
clamshell.
Yeah. Damn, that's great,
My one gripe with that is that it did a really good job of capturing that atmosphere of 80s horror, but I don't. As far as the film itself,
didn't like it that much.
It left me a little bit wanting more.
Okay, I liked it. Some people didn't like the end. That was a lot of people were like, it didn't need that monster kind of, like, it had this creepy, semi-supernatural feel to it, and unbelievable feel to it.
Totally, yeah.
But the end kind of threw the believability out the window, and that's what some people didn't like.
It didn't really reconcile, I think, very well, the ending of the film with the way they built it up.
Right.
It should have been...
I'll compare that ending to another ending that I was about, the ending of House of a Thousand Corpses, the first Rob Zombie horror movie. The whole movie, again, very late 70s, early 80s-esque, semi-believable, realistic, and that crazy, bizarre ending with the Dr. Satan, and just kind of...
Yeah, it suddenly became a Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Became a Nine Inch Nails video.
It didn't really need that. No, I, again, still like the movie. I think Devil's Rejects is a billion times better, and so do most people I know. But, yeah, again, I don't know. I guess they kind of wanted to just throw the kitchen sink in there, as they say,
Yeah. I kind of wish, House of the Devil would have either stayed within the confines of reality, or would have gone straight up,
right?
Satanic
Satan possession,
cult possession type
exactly.
thing. That would have been really cool. Like either
one or the other
would have been
right.
great.
Okay, yeah, I see your point.
And that's the other genre that needs to be. There needs to be more. I think
the satanic horror genre. Yes. I'm trying to remember the name of it. There is or was another movie along those lines being made. Probably even more underground than House of the Devil, but maybe you have to dig, as they say. Sometimes you have to dig to find what you're looking for, but on the whole, I would like to see more of that kind of stuff, because there obviously is a market for it. A few years back, there was a mainstream satanic possession movie, which I thought was pretty good, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah, I saw that.
Again, I thought I was going to hate it. I thought it was going to be a piece of crap. Pleasantly surprised, it was a pretty damn good movie. Some people said it was like, a Law and Order episode, but I only, with the whole court kind of thing to it or whatever, but I actually thought it was a pretty good movie. The possession movie from last year, I unfortunately can't think of the name of it, the one that was in theaters, the one that had the realistic kind of handheld camera bent to it.
The one that Eli Roth produced.
Yes. I cannot, it's really stupid that I can't think of the name of it right now. But that's something I want to see. I've heard mixed things about that movie. Hopefully that title will creep into my head or any moment now. But yeah, that is a cool genre, and a genre that the 70s obviously had on lockdown. The Devil's Reign.
Ernest Borgnine and William Shatner.
Race with the Devil, which supposedly is being remade or is already done. I don't know when it's coming out or who's doing it, but that whole kind of road movie with a satanic bent to it kind of thing.
Oh, actually, speaking of road movies, there's the Stake Land.
Yes, which has been a lot of good advance work on that movie. Fully covered by, of course, Rue Morgue. That's something I'm looking forward to.
The film that we're talking about with Possession, it's called The Last Exorcism.
The Last Exorcism. I knew. Yeah. Okay. Have not seen it. I've been slightly slacking on my new horror because I watch a lot of older stuff. But that's something that is in the pile of films that I need to see.
I caught that one.
And
it gets a thumbs up.
Thumbs up? Okay, all right.
Like a hesitant thumbs up.
Hesitant. Okay.
Because it was for a mainstream horror film. I thought it was
good. Pretty good.
For a mainstream American horror film, I thought it was really good.
A movie we both liked, but I did not see part 2. Paranormal Activity. Part 2. What did you think about that?
I haven't seen part 2 yet.
We both need
However,
to see part 2.
I think part 1 was brilliant.
Oh yeah.
I don't care. People slag that. Like there are some horror aficionados out there who don't really like it, who thought it was who didn't appreciate it, who didn't think it was very good.
Thought it was too mainstream.
It was too mainstream, but you know what, man? For a film, I thought it was very effective.
The funny thing is, people who thought it was too mainstream, what they don't realize or don't know is that movie was made for just about nothing. Couple, less than 50 grand or whatever. And the idea was that the studio executives who saw that movie wanted to just kind of take it and make a big movie out of it. And supposedly Steven Spielberg was one of the people that said, no, let's put this movie out as it is. That movie wasn't even really supposed to be seen by everybody. It was a small movie that fell into the right hands that was going to be the template for a big movie.
It was like the demo.
Yes,
version.
it was a demo. And Steven Spielberg was like, no, let's see what happens. Let's put this out with no name actors, with no nothing, and let's just put a big budget behind the promotion of it.
Yeah, dude.
Interesting, huh?
I saw that movie the first time I saw it. I couldn't sleep. It was quite effective, man.
Right.
And the things that really resonated with me were the scenes. It wasn't even necessarily the action, but like the scenes of the possessed woman just watching her husband just staring.
That was creepy. And what I loved most was it was included on the DVD with the alternate ending, which I thought was probably even more effective than the other.
I think we're all set, man.
Yeah. The ending, the movie's been around for a while, but the ending where she slices her throat, it was like, wow. I mean,
it also puts any kind of like sequel activity kind of slams to the door.
Right. Well, no, the spirit could live on just because she's gone. What I believe about Paranormal Activity 2 is that it's a kind of prequel. It has to deal with the girl's sister, and it occurs around the same time or right before the first movie. So.
Don't forget the porn.
Oh yeah, you can't forget that.
You never know.
That's right.
You never know. You might be with a guest, you
throw the.
you break it. Can I do it for you, or what you want to do?
We put it on one check. Actually, can you break $100 bill?
Yeah.
I figure with the clientele you guys got rolling through here.
How much is it? 23?
Yeah, it's like $23. Yeah, I got to check out Paranormal Activity 2. It's definitely. I enjoyed the first one quite a bit. Cool, thanks.
On a side, well, this has to do with horror. The company Synapse has recently put out a bunch of DVD, Blu-ray combos in one, and I picked up the newest one, Vampire Circus from Hammer, which is fairly less popular, less seen Hammer film, and it is freaking awesome. I highly suggest Vampire Circus.
I never heard of that.
Oh yeah, Synapse acquired the rights to 3 Hammer films. This is the first one. They're going to be putting them out. I guess spacing them out one at a time. But it is awesome if you love vampire movies or 70s movies. This is definitely one of the better ones, and like I said, it's one of the less seen Hammer films. So.
Thank you, sir.
And although it's been out a long time, I just picked up at a very cheap price the Alien quadrilogy.
Oh, dude, that's...
Yes, which is a must-have. The 9-disc version, which I don't even know if it's even still available anymore because they made a new version in the shape of an alien, I believe. It comes with like a little alien head, so that's pretty cool. On Blu-ray, so thank you.
Speaking of like deluxe DVD collections, I still got to see that Cannibal Corpse 5 DVD.
Yes, their home video from a few years back, which I often regard as one of the greatest band home videos I've ever seen because it covers the entire spectrum of the band from the demo days of the two bands that led up to Cannibal Corpse up until literally 2009 when the DVD came out. So
one of the things that from the little bit that I've seen of that, one of the things that I really liked was the lack of shit talking.
Oh no, I mean it includes some ex-members. I believe there's only one member who, for whatever reason, did not make it to the DVD. But yeah, it just, I mean, you know, anything and everything you ever wanted to know about the band is in there. And I think if you're going to take the time to make a DVD or a home video, that's what it should be. You know, you should, the bar should be high, you know. Exactly.
All right, man, I think we're cashed out here. So
cashed out.
Yeah, let's wrap it up, man.
Thank you, Mr. Hill.
All right, man. We'll do this again sometime.
Definitely.